Okay. Well, good evening. So glad you're here. I'm Josie Conti. Most of you know me. I think you all know me because that's why you're here. But for a couple people who might be watching me from my training program through the Boston Ayurveda School, and they know me, but maybe some of my classmates would want to hear a little bit about who I am as well. But you'll know me either as your colleague or a friend or a family member, relative. Mute, mute yourself, please. I can't do this without, I don't think I can watch both. Let's see. How can I do that? No, no. Okay. Anyway, I think I was sharing my screen with a friend, my friend Sarah, who was going to help to keep people quiet in the background, but in a way, it really doesn't matter. We'll be fine. Under participants, you have an option to mute. I do. But when people want to unmute, can you unmute yourself? Barbara, can you just give that a try for me? Yep.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. So this project is really about learning how to speak about something that I find really exciting, which is Ayurveda. And it has been a thread through my world for a long time. And I am presently working as a family medicine and osteopathic neuromusculoskeletal medicine specialist with my practice in Waterville, Maine. And I work for and with Maine Dartmouth Family Medicine Residency and a +1 program, like an extra year for people who love working with their hands and want to improve and learn more and have more experiences with infants and hospital-bound people. And the piece I feel had been missing for me was a better way to help my folks with chronic issues and digestive issues that really affect their musculoskeletal system. And I was going to return to Ayurveda like a couple of years from now, but one of my coworkers, Mariah, who's a wonderful MA, told me about the Boston Ayurveda School, which is only 3 hours from here. And I met the people there, and I did a personalized Ayurveda immersion, and it had to be now. So it had to be now for a variety of reasons. And one is that it's offered by Zoom. It's available to me, and through this process, I am just falling deeper and deeper in love with it. And so what I'd like to do is share my screen. So let me begin that. What I need to do also is open up my nifty PowerPoint. So give me a moment to do that. And hopefully you'll be able to see it. Here it is. So I'm just opening it, and then I'll share my screen in just a second. All right. And showing my screen. Here we go. And share. And let's go to this mode. Do you see that? So great. And so the name of this presentation tonight is Rekindling Vitality in Midwinter, and how Ayurveda can improve energy and restore your sleep for the busy person. And specifically, I was thinking about the residents who I work with, and there were a couple of residents who wanted to join us, but they're on night float. Just the people who I really would love to be able to send this to. So that another reason why I'm recording it. But I cannot watch the chat and have the PowerPoint open simultaneously. So if someone wanted to, you can text me if you have my. Oh, I can. Look at that. There we go. Yeah, you can, Barbara. Thank you. Jill's cat sent me a chat. Did you see that? RE444444. That's pretty awesome. My thank yous. I have a lot of gratitude. First, I wanted to give gratitude to the stewards of the land, the original people, the Wabanaki, the Maliseet, Mi'kmaq, Passamaquoddy, and Penobscot on this unceded territory in which we all are living and appreciating the bounty. I'd like to give gratitude to the Boston Ayurveda School. And with them, I'm taking the Ayurveda Health Counselor program right now, this is one of my assignments. And to Heidi Audette and the Himalayan Institute of Studies. And she was one of my very informative influences. Just a couple of years ago, I did an Ayurveda yoga specialist training with her. Leslie Hartwell was the woman and my yoga trainer who I studied with in Falmouth, Maine. Meryl Abramson, a dear friend, an Ayurvedic practitioner and nurse who is in Portland. Dr. Louis Melmadrona, and with Louis and Barbara and many friends, we just came through a 3-day international conference on Indigenous ways of seeing well-being, and it was truly amazing. I've studied AcuMed, which is acupuncture, medical acupuncture with Kiko Matsumoto, which I think I spelled her last name wrong, but I'm sorry. But deep gratitude for your teachings to my dear family who teach me the best, and of course my patients who I am learning from every day, and all my friends, all of you, Mitaki Yasun, is to all my relations. I have no apparent conflicts of interest, not selling anything. So just quickly, I don't want to read this to you, but anyway, my point is I wanted to look at time, the way that time affects us, either through the day, through the seasons, and times that we eat, and times we don't sleep, and times we sleep, how that affects our bodies. I wanted to celebrate winter going into spring, and today is Imbolc, which is St. Bridget's Day, and we're poised right between winter solstice and the spring equinox. And today was interesting. If you're in Maine and watching this, you know that we had temperatures rise to 40 degrees, which is amazing. And if you're elsewhere, I don't know what your weather is like there, but I have a friend who might be coming in from Arizona, and she's in a whole different season, but still she's experiencing changes from winter into spring. And I wanted to share some ideas on how to have a nice daily routine that can bring you a lot more energy and help your digestion, which is really key in your health. And in the world of Ayurveda, you are what you digest. I'd like to introduce you to the concept of 5 elements, which is really delightful and very intuitive, I think, and then offer you a couple ideas for practices. And here we are. We're on planet Earth. We share this space with minuscule, our microbiome, our viruses, our bacteria, our flying friends, our swimming friends, our 4-leggeds, our 2-leggeds. We're all here, and our plant people who love us so much and work with us all the time. and the rocks and the waters. That's us. And we can see ourselves within the world. We can see ourselves within one cell. And I think what I love about Ayurveda also is the privilege of feeling extremely connected on all of those levels. And compassion, the reason why my medical friends went into medicine, and how the world of medicine, I think, needs some help these days. It's really interesting talking to my screen. I can't see a single one of you, so I need to change things up a little bit. I don't know how to make it better, except do this. Are you still there? That's the question. Let me see. Will somebody talk to me for a sec?
We can see you and we can see your screen.
Thank you. It's just so bizarre. I don't know
See,
if I
there
like.
are ways that you can see more people while you're doing it, but it might make it so you can't see as much of your PowerPoint to be able to talk. But above your
Yeah.
face, if you put your cursor above how you see yourself, do you see that there's like a couple different options, and the one that's over to the right
I
is,
don't, you guys. I don't see it at all, Megan. I'm going to resume share there, and for some reason, I just can't see you all at all.
Do you see something called view on the top right with 9 squares?
I don't.
Okay.
I
If
do,
you hover,
but I don't know.
if you hover your cursor at the top right or at the bottom, if you see anything that says view, you have the option for side-by-side gallery rather than whatever it is you're on right now.
Very fascinating. I cannot see it.
if somebody else shared their screen for a moment, would she be able to see, like, would she be able to see you do it?
I can text you a picture of what it looks like.
There you go. That's a good
No,
idea.
you know, it's really fascinating. I think what I'll do is presume that you're all grinning and with me, and continue to talk and offer. I would like a little more ease to slide in and out. But
Josie, are you on full screen?
right now, my bar is above, like I see mute, stop video, security, participants, chat, polls, new share. I see all of that. There we go. Okay, I can see some of you. I can see you. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm sorry. It just is very strange.
And we are all smiling.
I know.
And we've all done this.
I know.
Like, we've
I
all gone through
know. And
this.
I know. Hey, this is the other thing. I just wanted to pause for a second. So during our 3-day Indigenous, two-eyed seeing Indigenous well-being, we were hacked. And it was very scary. So I didn't set up a waiting room, but in the case that happens here, because I'm slightly shell-shocked, I'm going to shut us down very quickly, and then we will, we'll resume. Okay. But I just needed to make sure I said that. Thank you. So why is this here? So this is here because I wanted to share a little bit about what it was like to do my training. And a lot of you know, because you're working as physicians and nurse practitioners, and some of you don't know that on so many levels, it's such a privilege to have this this knowledge and experiences and the patient experiences. And there is something that happens when you give yourself over to a higher good like that, like you really dive in, right? So you build yourself through your basic sciences and eventually end up in medical school. And medical school, you sit a lot, and sometimes 8 and 10 hours a day, and then you're studying at night and you're dissecting human bodies, and you push and push and push to make sure that you stay in it. And then in your third year, at least for my training, I went to the University of New England College of Osteopathic Medicine. And I think a lot of people's trainings, you have third and fourth year where you're on the wards and you're learning a new hospital system, and you're learning electronic medical records, and you're meeting patients, and you're asked questions on the point of like, tell me what's the best cause, what's the best treatment for such and such, and you're on edge. For me, I felt like I was on edge a lot. And then there's the match, and you hopefully get into a residency program. And I did my residency at Maine, Dartmouth, family medicine residency in Augusta, which is awesome. And I have some of my colleagues here with me, and I knew I was a good fit, and I knew they had a extra year of training for osteopathic neuromusculoskeletal medicine, and which is another reason why I went there. So you go there, and that's where some of our residents, some of our residents are presently on night float, and some other dear ones are in Lewiston, Central Maine, who are also wanting to be here and can't because they're working. And you work 80 hours and sometimes 100 hours in a week, and your nights and days get turned around, and you still keep going, because there are people to care for, and things to learn, and colleagues to stand by. And then you somehow 3 years and 4 years pass, and you step out and you're an attending. And for me, it went on with 5 more years of hospital coverage, which was fascinating, and listening to people's stories and treating people in my office, and disrupted sleep. And now I'm here. And I started working at Maine Dartmouth once again a year ago. So, that's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of adrenaline. And I just, that was what was percolating through my mind when I thought about who would I want to share this with. My first presentation is I really like to help the residents and my colleagues in finding ways of staying really energized through the winter. And I feel that Ayurveda holds some of the keys, and that's what we'll explore this evening. Ayurveda, it means knowledge of life. Ayurveda, it's the science of life. It's very logical, it's methodical, it is originally handed down through an oral tradition, and it's more than 5,000 years old. And what amazes me is the knowledge that our dedicated yogis and visionaries had 5,000 years ago, when they didn't have computers, and they didn't have televisions, and they didn't have, lab work. And they sat and they thought and they asked, how do I help my people? And through this knowledge of watching nature and watching cycles, they developed a very beautiful system of primary prevention, of ways to live that enhance one's inherent health. And this tradition was handed down for thousands and thousands, until it was chanted into shlokas, into rhyme, into ways of memorizing it, and eventually written in Sanskrit, and documented in several volumes of the teachings that still are in existence and still are translated. Within Ayurveda, there are more than 12 types of diabetes, not just 2, but 12 types of diabetes, and ways of curing it, not just managing it. So I find that fascinating. And through the philosophies of Ayurveda, one recognizes that we are more than our physical bodies, and we're not a diagnosis walking around, but we're human beings and we're divine beings having human experience. Ayurveda and yoga are sister sciences, and the practices of yoga and the philosophies within yoga reflect beautifully for Ayurveda, and the knowledge of Ayurveda reflects beautifully to yoga. You know, we almost lost Ayurveda back in the 1800s when British colonialism was rampant. Similar to what happened with our country too. Somehow Ayurveda survived in Kerala, India, and remained intact. And I think it's interesting. I feel that, in all due respect, to be not appropriating Ayurveda. I don't speak Sanskrit. I'm trying to learn some. I trust my teachers. I trust the writings. I don't speak the language of our Abenaki relatives. I respect their knowledge, and I want to hold that as important as my scientific knowledge as well. And I'm going to step off to the side for a second and talk a little bit about two-eyed seeing. And two-eyed seeing, Eptawak the monk.
Josie, may I ask a question?
Yeah,
This is Heidi. I know you can't see, but
I can see you.
oh, you can. Okay. So you mentioned about 12 types of diabetes.
Yeah.
Were those just discovered, or were they like manifested? Why did you mention diabetes? I'm curious.
I'm just using that as an example, Heidi, of ways that our bodies manifest imbalance.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That just as an example. We can
Okay.
take, yeah, yep. And I feel like in some ways, when you look at a system through the eyes of wellness, then you can use methods of diet, stress management, herbs, manual medicines to help bring a person to balance, or help guide a person to their balance, as opposed to stopping a symptom. And I think that is why I had mentioned diabetes as an example. But yeah, maybe that your question also helps me to keep on track, is that for me as a physician, I have a responsibility to bring the most evidence-based treatment to my patients, and I should say that evidence also comes in observational form. And so science is just catching up with Ayurveda. And I think it's great. And science is catching up with our indigenous ways of healing as well. So the two-eyed seeing means that when a body of knowledge comes through, either transmitted through oral traditions, that's the truth for these people. And science has its truths as well. And the two of them can be beautiful together. We can complement one another through holding the two eyes, holding tradition, knowledge of the plants, of energy, of vibration, foods, of daily living, of observing the times, while we also allow for science to bring us their knowledge as well. I think I'll pause here where, with Ayurveda, everything is made of 5 elements. 5. I can wrap my head around 5. So in our origins, we come from both non-material, spacious knowledge and also material knowledge. And these two, this is Purusha and Prakruti, come together to help form, you know, the human being, the mind, the person, the soul. And of this, we're made of what the planets are made of. And so, you know, on the other eye is the how many elements in our periodic table now? Anybody? 130, 100 more? I don't know. But I can hold on to 5. And I love the beauty of connecting our bodies, our beings, and our activities in nature. This concept of gunas, of qualities, will come up a lot during this talk. So I just want to show you very quickly this cold Shita. It's cold out. Shita means cold. Hima is cold. But these are just, you know, 10 pairs of opposites. 10 qualities, and everything is made of these qualities. So we might talk about food as being heavy, or we might talk about the weather as being heavy, or, you know, these qualities are going to carry through our talk this evening. But so of the 5 elements, ether is our first element, and ether is space. Ether is pure manifestation. It's openness. There's no container for this. We have space in our bodies. So we can't live without ether space. We can't live without space because we have, for an example, our sinuses are space. Our thoracic area is space. Our abdominal cavity has space. Even in the cells, we have space. Between tissues, there's space because that's what separates one thing from another, though we know nothing is really separated, but we observe the vastness of space. It is empty, it's light, it's stable, it's all-pervading, it's all-inclusive. Space does not move, it is, it occupies its vastness. It gives us freedom, it gives us peace, it gives us expansion. Space has no form, no shape, and the sensation, our sensory perception of sound is related to space. So sound, I learned this weekend, you know, one way of perceiving the sound that a drum makes, it's because of the space between the skin and the frame. That's what allows us to hear the sound of the drum. Space is all pervasive. Air is movement. Air is invaluable to our lives. We have to have air. We have to have movement. Air is dry, it's light, it is mobile, it's clear, it is prana, it's the force of movement. So all movement in our bodies is air. So we need movement, right? We need our eyes to blink, to keep our eyeballs moist. We need food, peristalsis. We need food to move through our bodies to be processed. Everything is reliant upon air. And the sensation or the sensory experience we have related to air is touch. Our skin is our largest organ, and it's exposed to the air. Fire is the next element, and fire, also known as Agni, fire is hot, it's dry, it's sharp and penetrating and light, like brightness, luminous and active. And fire is moved by air. Fire tends to move upward. We need gastric fire to break down our food, like hydrochloric acid. That's part of our internal fire. Jatara Agni is our digestive fire. That's within the stomach and the small intestine to break down our food. And fire plays a really important role in our health, because if we don't break down our food, then we don't nourish our tissues and we suffer, and we build up a lot of residue called ama. But fire is metabolic activity. So there's gastric fire, there's the liver is the seat of fire. The element of fire gives us color to our eyes and to our hair and to our red blood cells. The hypothalamus regulates our heat in our body. The brain tissue, the gray matter, maintains the fire through the nerve cells. So we can't live without fire. And the element of fire also brings us sharpness in thinking and knowledge. It can be sharp, it can be ambitious. That is fire. Water. Because of the heat of fire, our consciousness melts and we have water. And water is absolutely essential for life. And it's critical. It's our plasma. It is protoplasm right at the cellular level. It's cytoplasm. It gives us nutrition. It distributes our nutrition. It helps in maintaining our electrolyte balance, and it carries the nutrients throughout our bodies. The qualities of water: liquid, fluid, heavy, soft. It's moved by wind, it's moved by gravity, it's wet, it's considered slimy, it's dense, and it's cold. Water is connected to the sensation of taste. And fire, let's see if I can go back. I can't. Fire is connected to our sense of sight. So our vision and sight is connected to fire, and our sense of taste is associated and dependent upon water. So you could do an experiment. You can dab your tongue and dry it off, and then you can put a powder like sugar or salt on your tongue, and you won't be able to taste it unless you have saliva there. So water, our body's water is imperative to be present. And the fifth element is earth, and earth is necessary for human life. Earth is crystallization, it's consolidation of all consciousness. It's the solid parts of us. It's the bones, it's the fat, it's the muscle, it's the nails, it's our hair. Earth is grounding, it's strength, it's stability, it's firmness. So without earth, we would just fall apart. We need earth. So all of these elements are critical to our existence. So what's neat about these elements is then through biophysiology, these 5 elements, they manifest in our beings. So all of us, every single human being, every tree, every stone, every animal, everything is made of these 5 elements. And it's made up of different percentages of these elements. So you might consider them the humors. They're also known as the humors. And the humors is a concept that traveled all the way through Greek medicine and into sliding into the 1800s of American medicine, was still thinking about the humors. But getting back to the 5 elements, those 5 elements of air, ether, fire, water, and earth combine together to give us the doshas. So I'm starting at the bottom. So our vata dosha is ether, spaciousness, and air. The Pitta dosha is water and fire. And then our Kapha dosha, oh, that doesn't match, does it? Oh, that's okay. Never mind. The Kapha dosha is like, I think it's like the most densest, so I always put it third. But I'm looking at this chart, it's like, it's not third, it's in the middle. That's okay. You'll accept that, right? Yeah. So the Kapha dosha is earth and water. And these three organizations govern our biophysiology. So every human being, as I said, everything, every person, every animal, everything is made up of a balance of the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And so you might have X amount of Vata and Y amount of Pitta and Z amount of Kapha in all different balances. So no two people are alike. Just like, you know, it's like a snowflake, right? We are unique, and we're unique because of when we were born and how our parents gave us their own qualities and our exposures in utero, and then we're born and where we're born and how we eat. You know, everything affects what our dosha, what our manifestation is. So we won't be able to go into this dimension of Ayurveda, which is a lot of fun, which is like finding out what your dosha is or what your Prakruti is. But I think that you have a handout that I sent your way for a constitutional quiz. Yep. And so you might be able to take a look at that, and you can appreciate how, if you look at yourself in the mirror, are you skinny mini, long and lanky? Are you very muscular? Are you round and curvy? That will give you some insight into a lot of your general makeup, right? Are you more Vata? Are you more Pitta? Are you more Kapha? And it's not as simple as that, but you can kind of get a sense of, yeah, my personality is very driven, right? Very fire, very like ambitious. Or I'm just like, I'm part of the A team. I'm all over the place. I need to really use a lot of tools to help myself stay grounded and do my work through the day, right? I'm very airy. Or you sleep all day and maybe not get your assignment done because you're more kapha, or you're more, anyway, it manifests in all different ways. And so that the constitutional evaluation I sent to you was something that you might be able to play with on your own. And if you do it with a friend and talk about, oh, what do I look like now, and what was I like when I was a kid, and where have I come from, and what have I just gone through, because just stepping back for a second, of our residents who are working extra hard, stressed and pushing it, and at night and working 80 hours, and they're in their, a lot of them are in their pitta time of life. They're burning and going, because they're driven to do that, and they want to do that. And but when they are done, we want to be able to help them to live as long as they can, right? And not burn their all their juices up, right? Check on the time. I'm going to just sidestep for a second into our founder of osteopathy. Not a very gentle transition, but how does this all fit together? So this is Andrew Taylor Still. A.T. Still was born in 1828 in Virginia. He was a son of Abram Still, who was a minister and a doctor. And A.T. Still really was looking for a different something. And he put his own nature, was very curious, and he was extremely, he loved anatomy. He had a family who were physicians and ministers. And what's the collective norm of what was happening back in that time? So medicine in the 1800s, not so great. You're lucky if you survived into your 50s in the 1800s, because we did not have antibiotics. We purged, we puked, we did not do a whole lot of touching, but Andrew Taylor still was watching, and because of some of the folks that he lived with for a couple of years, he lived on Shawnee land. He lived on, well, he lived on a mission that wasn't their land, they were sent there, but he lived among Shawnee. He was watching Shawnee. He studied magnetism and hypnotism and um, all sorts of whatever he could get his mind around, whatever could help him. But he steered away from drugs. He steered away from the toxins that were prevalent in treating people in that time, and eventually came up with the genius of osteopathy. So, man, I don't know how I got here, but I'm glad you're all with me. You're still smiling. Thank you so much for grinning with me. But we did have some guiding principles, and these guiding principles carry the osteopathic physicians through today. And one is that the human being is a triune, it's a mind, body, and spirit. And Ayurveda, we're mind, body, and consciousness. Like it's no different. Like this is the truth, right? These are some truths, and this is some of the truths I felt like was the commonality of, like, yeah, I really feel like Ayurveda has a lot to offer in the world of medicine, because we have similar philosophy that structure and function are interrelated, that the elements of ether, air, fire, water, and earth give us our structure, and the motion, the motion of air and the motion of fire give us the metabolism, that we can't have one without the other. And our doshas, the way that we put these things together within our own systems, helps us to be who we are, and it makes us one unit. That we have the ability to self-regulate. That means that we have the capacity to heal. That is a truth. That's a truth in Ayurveda. It's a truth in indigenous philosophies of wellness, and it's a truth of osteopathy, is that the human has a capacity to heal itself, that we have the ability. Sometimes we need to give a little more assistance to these truths, and that rational treatment is based on these first three tenets. I also put this in because it reminded me of the 5 elements. I was working really at, can I make a connection between like the metabolic, can you see my cursor, my little mouse there? So like fire, for an example of metabolism, and is fire the metabolic aspect of when we look at the models, or biomechanical as earth element, like that's what our biomechanical, I think of like musculoskeletal, and the person might have a complaint of neck pain, which is extremely musculoskeletal, but it's probably is also affected by some of the other aspects of the, these models of behavioral, like do they smoke cigarettes? Do they sit at a computer a real lot? Do they, leaning forward? Are they like very much vision oriented? Is some of their habits conducive and causing some imbalance in their body? So anyway, this is the 5 model concept that we use in helping our patients to helping ourselves also understand what a patient is coming in with in their complaint, the neurologic model, and the respiratory circulatory, I think more of water, of moving lymph, of the venous and arterial circulation. And that neurologic, I'm not sure where that goes. It's a work in progress. I don't know. But anyway. This is macrocosm and microcosm to me. This is on the one side a picture of the galaxies, of space, of ether and matter. That looks like a bone. That looks like a femur bone, a leg bone to me. And on the other side is a cross section of a bone, of a cadaver's bone. So that's not living tissue, but Andrew Taylor Still, the founder of osteopathy, said the great creator equipped man with native forces sufficient to run the machinery of human life safely and smoothly to a ripe old age, and he has wisely placed the means for applying them and controlling them within easy reach, which is the bones. But I wanted to use that as microcosm, macrocosm. Another, getting back to truths and laws. This is an image of a teaching from Jim Jellis, who is an osteopathic physician who's recently passed about a year ago. But during one of his courses, he had drawn this on the board for us, and he was talking about supernatural laws, that we are governed by supernatural laws. We don't talk about that, and they're immeasurable. We don't really take that into consideration a lot in modern medicine, but supernatural laws would be the sensations, the feelings that you get, the premonitions, the information that you get that you can't measure. A supernatural law is something that something that attracts you within a room of people. Why do you not want to necessarily engage with one person in a room of 20 pre-COVID versus why you're attracted to somebody else? It's sort of a supernatural law. You can't quite put your finger on it. The natural laws are what we see, what we observe. The sun rises, the sun sets, the sun goes through its cycles. We're starting to build more sun. The birds come back because they follow the heat, they follow the light, they follow one another. And then there's man-made laws. And the man-made laws include the law of time. So time can be our friend, and time can also put a real limit on the way that we see the way things can work. So a man-made law might be within the world of medicine that when a woman comes to 40 weeks of being pregnant, then she better start going into labor, or we have to do something about that. And in the law of Western medicine, maybe that is truth, but maybe in a lot of other cultures, that is not necessarily truth, right? So our laws are determined by the consciousness, by the collective, by society, and we're governed by all of these. I'm going to just peek in the chat for a second. Neurologic, fire, electricity. Yeah. Ions. Thank you, Emma. Going back to the 5 model concept. Fire, electricity, and ions. Then I was wondering, then what is a metabolic? Yeah, so yeah. But it is motion, neurologic. Thank you. So time, here we are with time. Time, kala. Kala is a Sanskrit word for time, and chronobiology. So we know that people who are shift workers, who work at night, have different metabolisms, have changes in their physiology. We find that when you work against the natural rhythm of light, we become more fatigued. We lose our focus. So time and passage of time is important. It's important to watch. It's also important to respect. We count and we report number of heartbeats per minute in Western medicine. We measure respiratory rate collected, and we measure urine output in millimeters per hour or cc's an hour of output, and we gently measure a person circulating their blood glucose in measuring an A1C over time in a 3-month period. But from ancient time, the macrocosm and the microcosm is observed through passages of planetary bodies, the planets moving around the sun, and the sun cycling, and the moon cycling, and the seasons coming and going. and periods of our life over the lifetime, even times of day, reflecting the best time to use the mind or the best time to eat your largest meal, all the way down to the smallest measurement of time, which is samay. Samay represents the smallest measurement of time, and samay is a blink of an eye. It's about a quarter of a second in Ayurveda. So they measure right down to the eye blink. And but for all practical purposes, a second for us happens to be the finest measurement of time. So chronobiology is that word that we use to study the effects of time and distortions of time on the human body and on function. But they found that nurses working at night shift have an increased risk for breast cancer, colorectal cancer, diabetes, compromised immune system function, obesity, and disruptions in relationships with spouses and children, all because of distortions of time. So how we look at time is pretty critical. This also relates to the way that the sun and earth dance together. So as I mentioned earlier, here we are in the period between winter solstice and the spring equinox. Today is February 2nd. It's Imbolc, it's St. Bridget's Day. And I wonder if, what was it, Pascatani Phil? I wonder if he saw a shadow. Did he see it?
It was whatever means there's more winter.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old is very sad.
Yeah. We'll see.
The other question.
Yeah.
When you mentioned times of day, so like if I add up my score and it shows I'm on Pitta and it says time of day 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. When it says the time of day, what does that mean about time of day? Is that my best time of day? Am I most?
I'm just moving into that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So let me back up for a sec. So part of the talk was about how do you rekindle vitality when you're just you're kind of in the dead of winter. So winter. Now I don't know if you have access to your qualities, the gunas, but winter, right, in general is dry, it's cold, it's dark, and so we want to balance the weather that we see outside with foods that we bring inside, right? So right now we're in the dance between winter and here comes spring. So in terms of seasons, we are starting to get a little heavier. So the weather is getting more wet and heavy, and the snow is getting a little more heavy. So did you notice today, those of you who are in the Portland and Augusta and our area in Maine, that it got up to 40 degrees today, and so it was wet. It was heavier, it was colder. So we're going to keep moving between dry and cold and cold and then wet and warmer. And so it's good to watch that. And it's also interesting to see how you might adapt some of your habits to accommodate the changes in the seasons, as well as the times of day. So let me advance this and see if I might be able to make more sense. Okay, so along with the times of day is our times of our life. So more time. So when you're born, we tend to be more kapha, right? Kids, they're juicy, they're snotty, they have runny noses, right? They're like chubby cheeks, they're just juicier, right? More dense and more solid. And then about age 14 or so, you go through your, when a person has these big hormonal shifts from 14 to menopause, or, when you mid 50s, you're in your pitta time of life. Many of you are in your pitta time of life and our residents are mostly in their pitta time of life. They're driven, they're ambitious, they're going, they're getting, they're making, they're doing, they're, they're really putting a lot of energy out. Muscular, they're doing this, the physicality as well. Their bodies are very capable of doing greater feats than the next phase in your Vata time of life, from your mid 50s and onward. Like I am now in my Vata time of life. And I feel like I'm in my Vata time of life sometimes where, we start to lose the color of our hair. Our bones become a little more brittle. We are a little more dry. Our skin is a little more dry. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge that time has an effect on our bodies, on the human form. We are going to have an end sometime, that we go Kapha, Pitta, Vata, and then disappear. That's part of the process, right? Well, Andrew Taylor Still, founder of osteopathy, said that the body is actually a second placenta, that we keep going. And in the world of, we're born into something next. And Ayurveda sees that too, that there is an element, there's a part of us, a very deep and powerful part of us that does not die, that continues on, and that is our spirit. That's the observer. That's the part of us that will continue beyond physical form. But getting down to the nitty-gritty of the day has cycles as well. So as you can see, from 6 o'clock a.m., let's say 6 a.m., the sun is rising right kind of around this time, but from about a little before sunrise until 10 a.m., that's your Kapha time of day. We're sort of sleepy, we're kind of sluggish in the early part of the day. A lot of us spring out of bed if you're kind of naturally like, yep, blink, get up before the sunrise and greet your day. Try to get up a little bit before sunrise. That is definitely suggestion. But going into your Kapha time of day, you may not eat a really super heavy meal at this time. But if you're Kapha and you're in your Kapha time of day, it might be hard for you to get up before the sun rises, right? And you may not have a great appetite until the sun gets a little higher. So between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. is your strongest potential for digestion. So that's technically when a lot of us are working, but that's really when you want to have your biggest meal of the day, because your digestion is the strongest. It's the fiery Pitta time of day. And then after that, when you hit that low from 2 and the end of your day, and you're like, I don't know if I need another cup of coffee, what is going on? But your Vata mind is alert, but the rest of you is like, I think that I'm starting to wind down now. But that 2 to 6 p.m. is your Vata time of day. And then we go into the second round, from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock. That's when you start to wind down. Ideally, but sometimes you can't, because that's not what your work schedule allows you to do. And we have habits, right? So maybe we don't allow ourselves to wind down when we come home from work, and you do maybe, let the day go. You might eat a smaller meal and do some breathing, stretching, connecting with your family, and getting ready for bed. And then hopefully, ideally in bed before 10 o'clock or around 10 o'clock, so you are grabbing that sleep before you're heading into that metabolizing period of the evening, when your body really wants to be breaking down the food that you've taken in. So we go in through the night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is our Pitta time, metabolizing, and then from 2 a.m. to 6 p.m. again, the Vata time. So lots of dream time, busy mind time. And we're at spring. So I do want to pause here, because I can't believe, okay, we only have, oh, that's great. That's great. It's 7:30. So we need a bio break or no? Do you need a bio break? Some people do. Take 5 minutes. I'm going to sit here. Take 5 minutes if you need to take a bio break, and we'll move into the next part of our presentation.
Josie, I think your slides are so beautiful.
Thank you. they're looking pretty good. I'm glad that you're liking them. I am.
I particularly like the AT still with kind of the bubbles of consciousness around him. I thought that was a really beautiful way to present it rather than probably what I would do, which is like, Roman numeral 1, subheading A and B. So thank you for
Yeah,
bringing
welcome.
that lovely Vata time of life to beauty.
Thank you.
I'm going to go for a bio break now.
Okay. Okay. Yep, I am too. I'm just reading through some of this. Funny. Amanda, I don't know if you're here yet. Coming to mind, I thought I would share while thinking of it. Has thinking traditionally been in any way gendered? I'm sure it is, as in differences in gender recognized. I'm not sure. Amanda, are you here?
Hi, Josie. I'm here.
What did you mean?
Well, I just meant, I consider some of it to be, maybe there are differences in the phases of life, or, do men and women go through those phases in different, in different pieces? Do their times of day look different? Those kind of things. I was just wondering if were differences recognized, or if it was like, no, it just means you have more of this or more of that. I was just wondering how that has been played out.
I think that it didn't. I mean, I'm too new in the studies of Ayurveda to have any depth to be able to answer that for you. But I feel that it probably does boil down to who you are and what you've come in with and what your makeup is. And yeah, I have not run across that yet in my studies.
Well, I think if there's a lack of it, that's interesting as well, because you think of Western medicine, I feel like that's always been, women have more X disease, or it's much more gendered.
Sure.
So that's interesting in of itself, if it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'd have to really I think it's a great question, and I wonder about my knowledge of yoga. I think the yoga training was originally very male directed. I think I know this. I mean, I think I've heard this. Other yoga instructors, teachers out there who feel like originally the rigors of yoga and studies too tended to be slightly gendered. Yeah. I mean, I think that we're just starting to learn a little bit about the dhatus, about the tissues and the layers of the body and digestion, and how the body makes use of its digested material in a certain sequence. But semen and uh, other fluids are acknowledged as being different, women and men different, but there's not a value.
Hey, can you hear me, Jess? I just Googled it and came up with this study where they looked at the variations and functions of, for instance, Pitta as per gender in the Prakruti. And they were sort of exploring this question that Amanda suggested. And in this, it was fun to actually come across a study, but they were saying that there were some differences. However, these findings were not significant, but but they're of course saying it's a small sample size, homogeneous population. So further studies need to be done. So
Sure.
Anyway, I think, but this was from Department of the Faculty of Ayurvedic Institute of Medical Sciences at Varanasi. So, kind of right where it's happening.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'd like to move on. And I feel that I want to share this with you. This was from the Radiance Sutras. Can you see that? It's really beautiful. This is Radiant Sutra number 3. Enter these turning points where the rhythms of life transform into each other. Breath flows in, filling, filling. In this moment, drink eternity. Breath flows out, emptying, emptying, offering itself to infinity. Cherishing these moments, mind dissolves into heart, heart dissolves into space, body becomes a shimmering field, pulsating between fullness and emptiness. And at the end of the exhale, breath surrenders to quietude. For a moment, you hang in the balance, suspended. In the fertile spaciousness, this is the source of breath. At the end of the inhale, filled with the song of the breath, there is a moment when you're simply holding the tender mystery. In these interludes, experience opens into exquisite vastness. With no beginning and no end, embrace this infinity without reservation. You are its vessel. So, might we take just a few minutes to attend to our breath, which is one way of rekindling your vitality. If you're in such a space that your feet can be placed on the floor, that would be wonderful. And if you sit up tall, and if you're holding anything, you might just place it down for now and let your hands rest on your lap. You might allow the tip of your tongue to rest behind your teeth, but not touching the teeth. And you might allow your breath deeply, fully into your belly. And just watching it, you don't need to force anything, but just watching your breath flow in. Take a pause and exhale. You might consider placing your hands on your lower belly to remind yourself to breathe fully into the base of your body. You know, it's the first thing you do when you're born is take a big breath in. And the last thing you do when you die is your last exhalation. But in between, we have our breath. So I just wanted to step out for a moment, see if I can't see you all. I cannot see you all without losing my screen. Um, hmm. Let me do this. There you are. So I was yammering for a long time. I think what I had shared with you so far is that we are pressured sometimes to work under conditions and in times that are unnatural to us, honestly. And this is not a rant. It's not intended to be a rant, but it's intended to be an observation that electric lights and coffee are a couple things that we have in our lives that drive us sometimes. And that one way of rekindling and revitalizing might be to unplug just a little bit. So the point is, how do you gain more energy for your sleep? You know, how do you sleep better? How do you digest better? And one way that you might think of, or that you might consider at least, is to pay more attention to the light outside. So it's difficult, you know, if you are on your night float, that you know you need to push yourself a little bit. And I have a couple suggestions that I think might help you to make your transitions a little smoother. But for the rest of us who work or not work, are in the winter and find that, you know, we're inside a lot if you're in the cold weather, how to connect with the outdoors. And one way is to certainly not be staring at a screen, which I'm asking you to do with me this evening, you know, to give your eyes a break and to step away. So when you can, and if you can, even through your day, to step outside and just focus on something that's far away, focus on a tree or focus on something that's grander, on the sky or a cloud, to give your eyes that that shift and a break, to possibly take your meal without being plugged into the computer. You know, when it's time for you to have a meal time, even if it's a half an hour of your lunchtime, you can you shut down your computer for a few minutes and sit in quiet and enjoy your food and really think about what you're bringing into your body. That's another way of bringing some vitality into your being. Let me go back to my screen. Thinking about the senses, how to meet the day, right? So your sleep is going to be enhanced by how you meet your day. So we think about the eyes and sight. The eyes are fire, right? The seat of fire. And I had a meditation I wanted to share with you called Trataka, which I think we'll be able to do in a little while. But one thing you might try when you wake up is to just run your hands under cool water and fill your palms with water and place them over your eyes. You can open your eyes and blink and look around just a little bit. So you always want to put some cool water on your eyes. It's a really nice way to greet the day. So we talk about the senses because the senses is how through our senses, we are relating to our world. And so you want to clear these channels so you can meet the world in the most clear way possible. So for your eyes, that might mean natural light when you first get up and running cool water, placing it in your palms. Place your palms over your eyes, open your eyes and blink just a little bit, and then, blot your eyes dry. Your skin and your sense of touch. One way that you might prepare your body for your day is to use some warm oil on your skin, abhyanga, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it could be something that you do first thing in the morning or even once a week for starters. But right now in the winter, remember that winter is dry, it's cold, it's very vata, and your skin is going to start to reflect that as well. So I take about, I don't know, 5 minutes. I go into my kitchen, I boil water, and I pour some water into a bowl, and I get a Pyrex dish, a little bit dish. I set that in the bowl, and I put my sesame oil in. Organic sesame oil is fine for right now, for this time of year is fine. I let it warm up. I go back into the bathroom, and then I just rub it all over my skin. And so circular motions over all of your joints, circles on your shoulders, on your elbows, your wrists, down each finger, both sides, long strokes going down in the direction that your hair grows, for the spaces between your joints, all over your shoulders, your chest, your neck, ears, scalp, breasts, belly, clockwise motion over your belly, get more oil, warm it in your hands, over your hips, as much as your back as you can reach, round, circles around your hips, long strokes down your thighs, round strokes on your knees, long strokes down your calves and around your ankles, down your feet. I wouldn't, I tend to not do the bottoms of my feet first thing in the morning because it's slippery, and you can oil your feet at night, but waken your skin up to the sense of touch by warm oil, and then you get in your shower and take your shower, and you don't need soap, you don't need to scrub the oil off, just pat your skin dry, and your skin will feel really great. Your ears. How do you take care of your ears to greet the day? Maybe silence. Maybe pop your head outside for like 2 minutes and just listen and notice what's the most distant sound you can hear. Are there birds? Is there wind? Do you hear traffic? But tend to your ears, tend to your hearing. You might oil your ears just a little bit, but just, no news, no phone, just keep it quiet, greeting your day. For your mouth and enhancing your sense of taste, but also for your digestion, attend to your tongue. So you might think about getting a tongue scraper or even a spoon. Tongue scraping is great. It clears all the residue, what we might call ama, the residue from the night before. Scrape it off and, rinse your scraper, and then brush your teeth. But just prepare your mouth and your digestion with some hot water, 1 cup of hot water. And you go in the kitchen, boil the water, make it for your oil, but also drink a cup of hot water. It just is a great preparation for your digestion. And then for your nose and your sense of smell, blink, there comes a bouncy nose. You might consider nasya oil. When you use nasya, there are a lot of different kinds of oils to get for nasya, which is, treating your nose, but it's very dry right now. We're inside a lot, so your nostrils may become dry. And when you're breathing through your nose, it's the first place the air is going to come. You're preparing, it's like you're cooking the air through your nose to go into the rest of your body. So you want your nose to be functioning, to function well. So Nasya oil is, I think I've gone to Banyan Botanicals. I know there are other resources, but know your resource. Nasya oil is very benign. It's not very medicated. It's very simple oil. I think there's some Brahmi in the Nasya oil from Banyan Botanicals. But you put 3 drops in the middle of your palm. You take your pinky and just, oil it up, and then just massage the inside of your nostrils with this oil and breathe it in, and your nose is moisturized from the oil. But we want to attend to the senses. That's one way of improving your vitality.
Josie, there's a question from Amanda in the chat about the use of
Yeah.
why sesame oil particularly.
Yeah, sesame oil is really great. It's very light and it's also warming. So sesame oil in the wintertime is ideal. If you tend to be a little more vata, or the temperature and the season is a little more vata, sesame is a nice oil to use. And you might change things up in the summertime. You might want to use a cooling oil like coconut oil. But sesame, it tends to be more warming. And it's light for your skin. But you want to use a quality of oil that you would be willing to eat. So put on your skin what is edible. The nose is the door to consciousness and the pathway to our inner pharmacy, said Dr. Fasant Lad, Ayurvedic physician and founder of Ayurvedic Institute. Trataka. I really want to do this with you. So let me suggest this. I did not tell you to bring a candle. I don't want you staring at the computer when we do this exercise, but I would like to introduce you to the concept of Trataka. It's a great meditation. It feels so good, and you will feel really different after you do this. So Trataka, you would like, ideally you can use a candle at your eye level rather than looking down or looking up, but at your eye level. Okay. You might use an image instead, like a picture of someone you love or something, or a rose, some kind of plant that you love, or a mandala. You can use other things other than a candle, although the fire candle in a calm room without the flame bouncing all over the place is ideal for Trataka. So you might not want to do Trataka, candle gazing, if you have migraines, or you do it under the guidance of someone. You may not want to do it if you've had recent eye surgery. You might want to avoid it if you have seizure disorder, because it could trigger a seizure, but you can talk to your doctor about this. If you're having a headache, or if you have a history of glaucoma, you may not do this. You may not want to do that. If you have myopia, you can leave your glasses on when you're doing the Trataka. That would be okay. So the idea is to have a steady gaze, and I enjoy using a candle. I don't do this every day. I've done it a couple times over the last few weeks, and it makes a big difference to me. It relaxes my eyes. So you could practice it early in a dark room, or you can practice it in the evening if you want to wind down. Like, this would be a really amazing thing for a tired person coming off of a night float to do, and just steady their gaze. But so how about if I talk you through it, and you try not to stare at your computer while you do this. So here's what I'm going to suggest. You go into your relaxed seated position and pay attention to your breathing. So you would like to have a calm, slow breath as you're doing this practice. If you'd like to shut your computer, your camera off, that might be good too. It'll allow you to just feel a little more comfortable in closing your eyes. So just assume a comfortable posture, and your head and your trunk and your neck are aligned. And make sure your feet are comfortable and can rest on the ground. If you have a candle, you can remember to do this with a candle in front of you. Otherwise, you want to make sure that your room is dark, and you're going to rest your hands on your thighs. We're going to start with eye exercises. So with your eyes relaxed, look to the right and to the left, to the right, to the left, and right, and left. Now look up and down. Look up, look down. Look up, look down. Look up to the right on a diagonal. Look down to the left on a diagonal. Look up to the right. Look down to the left. Up to the right. Down to the left. One more time. Up to the right. Down to the left. Now shift your eyes up to the left. Down to the right. Up to the left. Down to the right. Up to the left. Down to the right. And bring your eyes center. Circling, looking right, look down, look left and up and right and down, left, around, up, and just keep a nice smooth circle going. Up, and then reverse your circle. So you're looking up to the left and down to the right, up and around, nice smooth circles. One more time. Rub your palms together, nice and briskly. Cup your palms and rest your head forward into your palms. And you can open your eyes into your palmed hands and let the light slowly come in. So now if you had a candle in front of you, you would be gazing at the candle, calmly breathing, just gazing, and you're going to gaze with round one, you're going to gaze at the tip of the wick. You would gaze at the tip of the wick until your eyes start to sting just a little bit. They'll start to water. And when they do, you just rub your hands together again. Actually, sorry, you don't rub your hands together yet. So you're gazing at the tip of the wick and your eyes are starting to react. So then just close your eyes and bring your vision to your third eye, to the space between your brows. So now you're gazing on your internal light and you're gazing up at your third eye, the space between your brow. And you hold it there. You're breathing calmly, belly breathing. And I'm talking you quickly through this, but you rub your palms together and you cup your eyes, rest your head forward into your hands, and eventually open your eyes, bring your hands down to your lap. The next thing is you're going to gaze at the center of the candle, at the thread of the candle, and you just keep gazing until your eyes feel a little stingy, a little watery. And when you feel like you need to rest your eyes, you close your eyes and you bring your gaze to your third eye again, breathing deeply, calmly, and you keep holding that gaze at your third eye. And eventually the image is going to fade. And I don't know how long that will be for you. It might be a couple minutes, might be a little bit longer. But when you feel like you've gotten that imprint and you've done your observations, you rub your hands together, cup your hands over your eyes, rest your head in your hands. And you bring your hands down. Your last round, you slowly lift your head. You bring your gaze to the candle base, to the middle of the candle, and to the flame. And this time you are gazing at the entirety of the flame. You gaze until you have to close your eyes again, and you bring your sight to your third eye, observing the image there until it completely fades. And rub your palms together, cup your palms over your eyes, and rest your eyes. And that is Trataka. And it's very healing. So that is one suggestion I have for you to try. I could mail you my if you email me, or if you write in the chat that you want me to send it to you, I'll send that to you. So people who are coming off of night float, when you come off of a long shift, you want to take a shower and you want to sleep for at least half this time that you spent, working. So you need to get some sleep. You might not eat a whole lot before you go to sleep because you're not going to digest it well. The most important is that you shower warm. You can do your oil if you want, and also oil your feet and your ears, because it's going to pacify your vata. And you can press pressure points on your ears. For a deeper rest, you want to do some ear reflexology. Foods that you might think about when you're coming off of a night float, when you're coming off of working a really long shift or feeling exhausted. You don't have to be a night worker to do these practices, but you want to take garlic and you cook it in some ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. Ghee is digested differently than dairy because ghee has been purified of casein and the heavier proteins. It's a very clean, light food. It's easy to make. I find it's easy to make ghee. You can certainly buy ghee in on the shelves in grocery stores and health food stores. But one of these days, I'll make a little teaching video on how to make ghee. It's very easy. But you cook your garlic slowly. You kind of roast it in ghee and spread it on some sourdough bread. So it might be a nice snack. It's also, garlic is enhancing to your immune system. So is thyme, black pepper. When you wake from your night of rest or your day of rest, you might make cocoa with nutmeg. Ashwagandha is an herb that's an adaptogen. And you can mix that into a cocoa nutmeg mix and sip that. It's really life enhancing, honestly. So ashwagandha is, I think it's grown actually, Deb Sewell grows it in Avena Botanical. So we have a beautiful biodynamically grown ashwagandha grown in Maine. If you look for Avena Botanicals product. Another way to clear your senses we talked about earlier is with your dinacharya or your waking ritual. So lubricating your don't put, so it says essential oils. Don't put essential oils in your nose, please. I will correct that. But sesame oil or your nasya oil that you can find nasya oil by Banyan Botanicals. Nasya by Banyan has olive oil, refined sesame, brahmi, calamus, and skullcap, and a little eucalyptus. It's a great oil to travel with. For your eyes, you're going to try the cool water rinses. Trataka, which we just talked about. It takes like 10 or 12 minutes. Step outside, gaze at nature, gaze at the sky, gaze at the clouds, at the moon, whatever's out there for you. We talked about scraping your tongue and pulling off the ama from the night before or from your sleep, brushing your teeth, and then drinking some hot water. If you just do one thing, drinking hot water will enhance your digestion. Your sense of touch, your skin, and preparing your skin for the day with some self-massage would be really lovely. And for appreciating silence, avoiding negative input, and just having some quiet. Whoopsie. I can't believe how the time went so fast. But I wanted to share with you just a couple.
Josie, could I ask a question?
Yeah.
You haven't talked about neti at all, and I just thought after a long night in the hospital with, potential COVID exposures, would there be any benefit to just doing a little nasal wash?
I think neti could be helpful for some people, but I think it's a little overrated. I think that neti is actually not exactly a regular Ayurvedic practice for your dinacharya. I know that the New York Times just put out a great article on the importance and the great uses of neti pot. So neti pot is using some warmed water that's been purified and often is buffered with a little salt and baking powder or whatever blend. But no, I won't talk about neti. I don't have time to talk about neti. And but if you've had an exposure, you might consider neti pot. But just plain nasya oil, I think, can prepare and protect your nasal passages, keep them healthy. So yeah, the change in season coming from our winter, very dry, cold, have days into our more moist, heavier, wet times between. It can happen. You'll watch how the seasons are going to be kind of shifting. It's just kind of like bump along, and then all of a sudden it'll be warmer. But in preparation for spring, you may consider eating lightly digested meals, taking a little bit of honey and hot water. Honey is drying, so a little bit of honey and mixing it in hot water after your meal. Warming and cleansing teas, including ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, clove, or cumin, coriander, fennel seed tea. You can take equal parts of cumin, coriander, and fennel seed. You want to avoid heavy, oily foods during springtime because kapha is your heavy, right? It's like moist, heavy. So we don't want more moist, heavy in our foods. We want to try to counteract that, which is why you go with the bitter and pungent, spicy, astringent tastes, and that you'll get through your vegetables. Ghee is one oil that would be fine during this time. Avoiding wheat, brown rice, and white rice, but basmati is different, and aged rice is okay too. So basmati actually has a low glycemic index compared to other white rice. Kind of interesting. Emphasizing bitters, pungent and astringent tastes. So artichoke, asparagus, it's going to start springing up in, I don't know, March and April. Broccoli and carrot, microgreens, awesome during this time of year, heading into spring. You want to eat local. You want to eat what grows in your area is ideal, really, for your body. Apples are still around. Apricots, maybe dried. Cherries coming later. Dark grapes coming a little later. Pears around now, and dried fruit and raisins. It's already 8:19, and I'd really like to talk you in through a yoga nidra into a sleepy state. So Who do we still have with us? And I hope that is okay that I do that with you. Yay. Okay, good. Thank you. Thumbs up, Debbie. Thank you. You have a blanket? You might want to get yourself cozy. And I would like to lead you through a little guided practice called Yoga Nidra that will hopefully help relax you. I'm going to just check. Yeah. Oh, Bree and Meg say Avena is having a sale right now on herbal supplements, which is awesome. Avena Botanicals, Rockland, Maine. Yep. Trataka, please. You're good. Okay. I will send that out to you, even if you didn't send me in the chat, but I'll send you the little guided trataka. So get your blankets, get comfortable. We're going to end with this, right? And again, if you want to turn your camera off, that might be nice for you to get as comfortable as possible. Yoga Nidra is practiced in schools, in hospitals, in prisons, in hospice houses, and veterans clinics to help people with PTSD, with depression, with cancer, or stress. And you're going to be guided to withdraw your senses. The scientific side of Yoga Nidra is that there's an increase in dopamine release in the brain, which leads to the part of the brain that leads to movement. So it like closes and shuts and quiets everything down. So get comfortable and lie on your bed or the sofa or the floor and cover yourself with a blanket, or sit and cover yourself with a blanket and just bring your awareness into your breath. You're about to practice Yoga Nidra, a deep and relaxing meditation experience that will allow you to let go of distractions and worries and connect with your deeper self. As you settle into your resting position, bring your awareness to the spaces between your body and the earth beneath you. Invite your body to soften and rest. As you begin to surrender into relaxation, notice the spaces between your body and the earth and how they're becoming smaller and smaller. Your body is relaxed, lying on the floor or sitting in a chair. Let your feet fall as they will. Position your head comfortably, with your head and your neck in a natural position, and your forehead level or slightly higher than your chin. Feel free to place a blanket underneath your head or a bolster under your knees whenever you need to feel more comfortable and relaxed in this posture. You don't have to stay awake. It's okay. Soften and close your eyes and allow your body to slowly relax and settle into the posture. We'll begin with a rotation of awareness, and all you have to do is allow your awareness to follow my voice as I guide you from point to point within your body, coming to a place of stillness, and try to remain still through the practice. If you notice discomfort anywhere in your body at any time, first observe it. If it continues to bother you, make any necessary adjustment. And then come back to a place of stillness as soon as you can. Take a deep breath And as you exhale, let go of all the worries and distracting thoughts and allow your mind to relax completely, following the sound of my voice throughout the practice, remaining awake and aware. Allow the sound and the easy rhythm of your breath to further relax your body. Allow each breath to flow through you like a rolling sea wave. Observe sounds outside and inside the room, noticing them without finding any of them disturbing. Feel awareness of your body from the crown of your head to the tip of your toes. Mentally repeat Om, noticing stillness in your body and awareness in your mind of your whole body. And again, say to yourself, Om, keeping your awareness on your whole body. And say, I'm aware and I'm going to practice Yoga Nidra. Beginning with the rotation of consciousness, we'll do a abbreviated Yoga Nidra as you transfer your awareness swiftly to body parts of your physical body while remaining still. Allow your mind to quickly transition from part to part. Stay alert, but don't strain to follow my script. This should be a relaxing journey through the different parts of your body. Think of the part of the body or see it in your mind's eye, whichever you find easier, but make sure you're not actually needing to move that body part. Right heel, left heel, right calf, left calf, right knee, left knee, right thigh, left thigh, right hip, left hip, both hips together, lower back, middle back, upper back, right elbow, left elbow, right upper arm, left upper arm, right shoulder, left shoulder, both shoulders together, right hand, all 5 fingers, left hand, all 5 fingers, both shoulders again, your neck, the back of your head, all points of contact with the earth. Be aware of your tongue and your collarbone, your chest, right chest, left chest, navel, lower abdomen, both arms together, both legs together, remaining awake and aware. Feel your whole physical body resting, completely still and relaxed, softening and sinking. Visualize your body relaxed and resting on the earth. Return your awareness to your breath and feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest, your rib cage, your abdomen with each slow breath, and feel the nourishing energy of the breath flowing through you. Visualize the front of your body and the space between your navel and your throat, and begin to visualize your breath rising from your navel to your throat, and with each inhale and softly descending with each exhale. Let go of your concentration and visualize your breath. Guide your awareness deep into your body, back to your physical body, lying on the earth, aware of your breath. Body slowly breathing in and out without opening your eyes. Become aware of your surroundings and the earth beneath you. As your awareness comes back, invite your breath to deepen. And when you feel ready, stretch your arms long overhead and extend your legs long and point your toes and take a full body stretch. And you might roll over into a fetal position, symbolizing a new beginning, taking a moment, ready to press up into a seated position. And here, my friends, I need to leave you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening in Rekindling Vitality in Midwinter, an Ayurvedic approach to rekindling vitality, thinking of your senses and thanking them and blessing them every day, nourishing your body with warming foods, attending to the outside world, watching the weather, shifting from dry to moist as you ride through the shifts and changes of winter to spring. And I wish you all a beautiful night. Thank you, all my teachers. Thank you all for being here. I will send you the Trataka script so you can try it on your own. And namaste. Thank you. I will indeed send it to all of you. You're all wonderful.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thanks, Josie.
Thank you.
Thank you to Josie.
Thank you, Brooke.
Love
I
you.
love you too. Thank you all. So
Beautiful.
sweet. Have a
Bye.
lovely, lovely sleep. Good night.
Thanks, Josie. So nice to see you.
So nice to see you too. I'm going to stop my recording so I can. Yes, I want.